Hola a todos y bienvenidos a otra clase de inglés nivel. Oh, sorry, yeah, I forgot. This class should be in English, because it's level B2, level B2. So no Spanish. Let's see what we got in the chat. We've got Rosie, hi Rosie, and we got Irma, hi Irma. Oh yeah, I don't know if I put the link. Let me see if I can put the link in the. I think I forgot to put the link. So if you're a member of this channel, you can join the class. Let me just put the link in the community, Irma. So if you're a member of my channel, you can join the conference. I'm just going to paste the link. It's in the community tab. So I'll put that in the chat here. So if you visit the tab, if you're a member and you visit the tab, you need to be a member silver and above, plata, oro, and then you can join the Zoom conference and participate in the class. So we got Michael, hi, Graciela, hi, Rena, hi. Let's begin the class. Let me get the subject today is the third conditional. Third conditional. So let's have a look at the third conditional. Before we start looking at the third conditional, let's recall the other conditionals or conditionals in general in English. Basically, we have zero conditionals. We have the first conditional, we have the second conditional, we have the third conditional, and we also have mixed conditionals. Today we're going to be looking at the third conditional and mixed conditionals. But before we look at that, let's just remind ourselves of what conditionals are and the three other types that we won't be looking at today, because these are more simple. So here I've got examples of, first of all, the zero conditional. This is a photo of water being heated in a kettle. If you heat water in a kettle, it boils. This is an example of the zero conditional. Notice the verb tenses. Here, all of the conditionals have two parts. They have an if part and they have a result. So the if part has a verb. If you heat, the verb here is heat. Water in a kettle, it boils. This is the result, it boils. So here's the other verb. So in this conditional, which is the zero conditional, both the verbs are in the present simple tense. Now I have here an example of the first conditional and the second conditional. So let's look at the first conditional. This is Mo Farah. His fastest time in the 10,000 meters is 25 minutes 46 seconds. If he runs 10,000 meters in 31 seconds, if he runs 10,000 meters 31 seconds faster, he will break the world record. So this is an example of the first conditional. Again, we have two parts. We have the if part, the imaginary situation. If he runs, the verb here is in the present simple. And the result is, if this first part here before the comma is true, is in the future simple. He will break the world record. Okay, so this is an example of the first conditional. This time the verb is in the present simple, and here it's in the future simple. Then we have an example of the second conditional. This is me a couple of years ago. My fastest 10K is 41 minutes 30. if I ran 10K 15 minutes faster, I would break the world record. So let's have a look at the difference between these two, the first conditional and the second conditional. The verbs, it's more or less the same sentence. This is Mo Farah. If he runs 10,000 meters 31 seconds faster, he will break the world record. And this is me. If I ran 10K, this 10,000 meters here, 15 minutes faster, I would break the world record. Question: why is it not possible, if I can write on here, which I can't because, yeah, here. If I run 10K 15, I'll move this in a minute, 15 minutes faster, I will break the world record. Let's move that over there. So now I've changed the one about me so that it's actually the same as the Mo Farah one. But this is wrong. I cannot say this. I cannot say if I run. I can say it's okay. If he runs 10,000 meters 31 seconds faster, he will break. This is correct. But in my case, I can't say if I run 10K 15 minutes faster, I will break. I need to say if I run 10K 15 minutes faster, I would break. Irma, we've got Irma in the chat. Hi, Irma. How are you? Can you hear me?
Hello, teacher.
Hi, how are you today?
Oh, teacher, excuse me, why I'm hearing a lot of echo.
Have you got YouTube on as well as Zoom? It's because you need to maybe put, if you're using Zoom, then turn off the YouTube. Don't watch me on YouTube. You understand? Yeah? Irma, are you
No,
still
I don't
there?
understand. Oh my God.
Lo que deberías hacer es apagar YouTube, porque si estás en Zoom y YouTube, lo que pasa es que en YouTube hay una demora y en Zoom es muy directo. En Zoom, cuando yo hablo, tú me vas a escuchar, pero en YouTube me vas a escuchar 10 minutos o un minuto después. Lo que probablemente estás en YouTube, déjame ver, porque apaga YouTube y solo usa el Zoom. ¿Me explico? Okay, so have you been paying attention to this? My question is, today we're looking at conditionals. Why can't I say this? Or anybody in the chat? Anybody in the chat? We've also got Carlos. Hi, Carlos. Can you hear me, Carlos? Who can tell me why this sentence here is incorrect? But it's correct for Mo Farah, but not for me. Why? This is wrong, but the same sentence here is correct. Can you tell me why, Irma? Or Carlos, if you can hear me, Carlos, or somebody in the chat. Does anybody know? Does anybody in the chat know why I cannot say this? Irma?
Oh my
Well,
God.
I'm going to tell you the reason is that this conditional here is what we call a real conditional. That means that it's a real possibility. Mo Farah is one of the world's fastest runners. He won the gold medal at the Olympics. And it's highly possible that he could run 10 kilometers 31 seconds faster and beat the world record. This is a real possibility. But in my case, it's not a real possibility. It's impossible for me to run 10 kilometers 15 minutes faster and beat the world record. I am not going to beat the world record. So this is 100% hypothetical situation. So this is a real situation. And when it's a real situation, now or in the future, we use the verb in the present in the if part, and we use the future simple, which is will plus the base verb, or we use any future tense in this part. But when it's a hypothetical situation, this verb here is in the past tense. If I ran. Now, I am not referring to the past. The verb is in the past tense, but I am not referring to the past tense, to the past time. It's in English, we don't have a special verb form to talk about imaginary situations, so we use the past. So this is a hypothetical imaginary situation now. And here it's a result of that hypothetical imaginary situation. So I need to use would not break. Now, this is not the subject of today, but here I have a summary of what we've just seen. So basically, let me just adjust this window because it's trying to see what happened here. Big. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's okay. So here I have a summary of the all four conditionals. So the zero conditional. This conditional is used when the result will always happen. It's used for facts. If you heat water to 100 degrees, it boils. So this is a fact. If you heat water to 100 degrees, it boils. For facts, we use the zero conditional, and the verbs are in if part is in the present tense and the result is in the present tense. Always we have two clauses. We have one clause which in here is in yellow, which begins with if, and we have the other clause which is the result, which in these examples is always in green. So we can actually reverse the order. It's quite possible to say, for example, if I can write on here, yeah. Water boils if you heat it to 100 degrees centigrade. So we can change it doesn't matter. We can put the green part first. In all the examples, we can put the green part, which is the result first, and the yellow part second. Here I have the yellow part, the if part first, but you can change the order. This is an example of the zero conditional. Zero conditional, present tense in both clauses, used for facts, scientific facts. First conditional. This conditional is used when the result is a real possibility now or in the future. If it rains tomorrow, we'll go to the cinema. Real possibility that it is going to rain tomorrow. The if part has the verb in the present simple. The result clause has the result in the has the verb, sorry, in a future tense. In actual fact, we can use any future tense here. We could also say, if it rains tomorrow, we'll be going to the cinema. Although probably not that likely that you would say that, but you can put it in any future tense. Again, we can change the order and say, we'll go to the cinema if it rains tomorrow. Are you paying attention, Niyama? Have you got rid of
Yes.
Yeah, this is very complicated.
Yes.
This is going to get more complicated. A lot of people have problems with this. Not with this one and not with the next one, but the one today is the third conditional. So let's carry on. The second conditional is used when the result is hypothetical. It means completely unreal. When you want to talk about something which is not ever going to happen, it's completely hypothetical. You need to put the verb in the if part in the past tense. If I had a lot of money, I would travel. And here we need to use would. We could also use could or might. The thing about this is we have the verb in the past, but we are not talking about the past. This is now. It's the opposite of reality because it's unreal. I don't have a lot of money, but if I had a lot of money, completely imaginary, I would travel around the world. Again, we can change the order and say, I would travel around the world if I had a lot of money. So finally, that brings me to the subject of today's class, which is the third conditional. So the third conditional is used for, this conditional is used to describe a situation that didn't happen. This conditional is used to talk about the past. We want to refer to the past. So it is unreal. It's going to be an unreal conditional like the second conditional because it's going to refer to something that didn't happen. It's always going to be the opposite of reality. For example, here's an example. If I'd gone to bed earlier, I'd have caught the train. So how do we form this? So if I'd gone to bed earlier, the first thing is here, the verb in the if part is in the past perfect because this clause refers to the past. We cannot use the past here because we use the past in the second conditional. So we need to use the past perfect. This is had plus the past participle. If I had gone to bed earlier, we don't normally say had, we just say I'd. And here we need to use would, which is also contracted as the, plus have, plus the past participle. So this the here in the if part is had. And this the here in the result is would. If I'd gone to bed earlier, I'd have caught the train. Past event, past hypothetical situation in the past. The reality is that I didn't go to bed earlier with a result also in the past. The if part is past perfect, which is had plus the past participle. And the result is would plus have plus the past participle. Okay. So, Irma, Carlos, can you hear me, Carlos? No, I don't think your sound is working. Do you have any questions, Irma?
Are there the only three conditionals? Or
Well,
there are more?
Yeah, there's also mixed conditionals. I'm going to deal with those in a minute. These are the four main ones, but we also have mixed ones. Mixed ones are with a result, with a hypothetical situation now and a result in the past, or a hypothetical situation in the past with a result now. In a minute, I'll cover those. Let's carry on here and let's have a look. What's next? So we're looking at the third conditional. So like all of the conditionals, we have two clauses. Two clauses. Let's just change this because it's not very clear. The first part is the if clause. So the if is in the third conditional, which is the one to talk about the past. We need to use if plus the past perfect. For example, if she'd studied. If she'd studied. I think if you're a Spanish speaker, and most people here are Spanish speakers, that would be si hubiera estudiado, creo, or si había estudiado. I'm not sure actually, because my Spanish is not at that level. If she'd studied, and the result clause we need to use would plus have plus past participle. She would have passed the exam if she had studied. The reality is that she didn't study. But if she had studied, imaginary situation in the past, she would have passed the exam. The reality is she didn't study and she didn't pass the exam. So here we have the same example. If she'd studied, she'd have passed the exam. But really, we know she didn't study, so she didn't pass. Again, we can change the order and we could say, she would have passed the exam or she'd have passed the exam if she'd studied. You can say both ways round, both ways round. If I hadn't eaten so much, I wouldn't have felt sick. Here, this is in the negative. The reality is that I ate a lot of food and I did feel sick. I did eat a lot and I did feel sick. But if I hadn't eaten so much, I wouldn't have felt sick. And we could say the other way around. I wouldn't have felt sick if I hadn't eaten so much. If we'd taken a taxi, we wouldn't have missed the plane. So the reality is we didn't take a taxi, so we missed the plane. This is the reality. But the imaginary situation is if we'd taken a taxi, we wouldn't have missed the plane. We wouldn't, oh, this is here, let's get rid of that. She wouldn't have been tired if she'd gone to bed earlier. So the reality is, she didn't go to bed early, so she was she was tired. Yeah, she was tired. She didn't. This is reality. That the hypothetical is she wouldn't have been tired if she'd gone to bed earlier. She'd have become a teacher if she'd gone to university. This is the imaginary situation. And the reality is, what really happened is she didn't go to university. She didn't go to university, so she didn't she didn't become a teacher. This is the reality. What's happened now? Something happened here because this one's a different. So as I've already mentioned, you can turn them around. You can say, if I hadn't drunk that coffee last night, I would have slept better, or I would have slept better if I hadn't drunk that coffee last night. Okay, so let's go to the next page. I've got some more examples here. If I'd seen Lucia, I'd have told her. If Anna had been free yesterday, I'd have invited her. If they hadn't passed their exam, the teachers would have been sad. Here we would contract this. The teacher would have been sad, would have been sad. If it had rained yesterday, would you have stayed at home? Question. If it had rained yesterday, what would you have done? Another question. More examples. I wouldn't have left my job if I'd known how difficult it is to find another one. I would have taken a photo if I'd brought my camera with me. We would have died. He would have died if the ambulance hadn't arrived quickly. She would have gone to the party if she hadn't been sick. He wouldn't have become lost if he'd taken the map with him. The team would have won if the referee hadn't taken the bribe. You wouldn't have needed fillings. Fillings is in your teeth if you'd brushed your teeth more frequently. So many examples of the third conditional. This conditional is used to talk about imaginary situations in the past with imaginary results in the past. So the last thing today is the mixed conditionals, because mixed conditionals, sometimes we have an imaginary situation in the past or hypothetical situation in the past with a result now. So when we do that, we need to mix the two conditionals. So for example, if I'd won the lottery, I would be rich. So what we're doing here is we're saying if I'd won, this we know is talking about the past because it has the subject if plus subject plus had plus the past participle. But here it's just would be. It doesn't say would have been rich. No, that would be in the past. It says would be rich, which means now or in the future. If I'd won the lottery, past, I would be rich now. But it's not necessary for me to say if I'd won the lottery in the past, I would be rich now, because that information is conveyed with the verb structures. If I'd won the lottery, I'd be rich. The reality is I didn't win the lottery in the past and I'm not rich now. If I'd taken, if I had taken French in high school, I would have more job opportunities. This one we can contract. So if maybe it's better here to say if I'd learned French, I think could say taken. If I'd learned French in high school, past, I would have more job opportunities now. This one here is with just would plus the verb. I didn't take French in high school. I don't have many job opportunities. If she had been born in the United States, she wouldn't need a visa to work here. If she'd been born in the United States, past, she wouldn't need a visa to work here now. So the reality is she wasn't born in the United States, and now she needs a visa. So in all of those examples, the imaginary situation is in the past with the result now, but it's also possible to have an imaginary situation now with a result in the past, which sounds a bit strange, but here are some examples. If I were rich now, I would have bought that Ferrari we saw yesterday, in the past, yesterday. I'm not rich, and that is why I didn't buy the Ferrari yesterday. If Sam spoke Russian now, he would have translated that letter for you in the past. Sam doesn't speak Russian, and that's why he didn't translate the letter. I have a lot of work, and that's why I didn't go to the party last night. Sorry, I read that wrong. I should have read this bit. If I didn't have to work so much, I would have gone to the party last night. This is now generally. I have to work a lot, and that's why I didn't go to the party last night. Okay, we got Irma. Irma and Carlos, did you get all that information, Irma? Are you still there? What about you, Carlos? Are you there? Hi.
Yes, I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
here.
this is very difficult.
Yes,
Yeah. Do you understand, Carlos?
more or less.
Yeah. Are you ready for the questions?
No.
No. Have you got any questions? What about you, Irma? Are you ready for the
I'll
questions?
try.
I got some more examples there, but I think I'll just Yeah, because actually I shouldn't have. Yeah, let me. Okay, so here I got some questions. Oh, I've got the answers too. Let me just stop this for a minute because I've actually got the answers here. So I forgot to delete the answers. Let me just delete the answers. Just 1 second. Otherwise, very easy. I'm just going to delete the answers. That's it. Let's put it back on again. So, right conditionals. Number 1, and anybody in the chat can do this too. Hi, Raphael. Who have we got there? Glenda, hi. Glenda, Jean. Hi, Jean. Luce, hi. So I wasn't thirsty. I didn't drink the lemonade. So starting with the word if Carlos or Irma.
If I have been thirsty,
Very good. Yeah. If I had been thirsty,
I would have drink. Oh no, drank the lemonade.
yeah, drunk is the past participle. Very good. I'm impressed because this is very difficult. Very good. Excellent. What about number 2? I didn't know Kirsty was in town. I didn't call her. If
I had known Kirsty was in town,
very good. Yeah. If I had known Kirsty was in town,
I wouldn't call her.
the reality, yeah, it's I would,
I
but we can
would
just
have.
say, yeah,
I would have
we can just say I'd, yeah, I'd
called
have called her.
her.
And here too, we would normally just use a contraction. If I'd known, if I'd known Kirsty was in town, I'd have called her. This is how a native would speak. If I'd known Kirsty was in town, I'd have called her. I didn't know watching this documentary was important for an exam. I didn't watch it. What about you, Carlos?
If I would know it,
No, you need to use similar structure to these other ones, Carlos.
if I,
What's the next word in the others?
I did,
Yeah, very good. If I had or I'd.
know it,
Yeah, the past participle of know is, what's the past participle of know? Yeah, I've done it. I've made a mistake here, sorry, because it's known.
no,
Yeah, if I'd known.
No, yeah.
If I'd known what? If I'd known. If I'd known, what didn't you know? Anyone in the chat?
If I had known watching this documentary was important for our exam.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, if I'd known watching this documentary was important for our exam,
I will have watched it.
yeah, I would have watched it. Watched. Or we can just say, I'd have watched it. I'd have watched it. Number 4, I walked home from the club. My friend was too drunk to drive. I walked home from the club. What about anybody in the chat? The chat is nobody's saying anything in the chat. Has anyone got any answers in the chat? No. I walked home from the club. My friend was too drunk to drive. If somebody's writing on my screen, that's strange. How did that happen?
If my friend wasn't too...
Yeah, what's happened on that screen? Hold on one sec. There's some... I can't get rid of it. Let's stop this a minute. Something strange happened on my screen. Yeah, if my... There's a clue. Has anyone in the chat got an answer? If my...
Home. My.
No. Who's got the answer? So the reality is my friend was drunk. So if my friend...
if my friend was a friend...
Anybody in the chat
Had
got the
been
answer?
drunk to drive? Oh.
Yeah, no, it's a negative. If my friend hadn't
been
too drunk
too
to
drunk
drive,
to drive, yeah.
I what? Any ideas?
I didn't walk.
No.
I wouldn't have walked home.
Yeah, no, almost. I wouldn't have walked home. If my friend hadn't been too drunk to drive, I wouldn't have walked home. If my friend hadn't been too drunk to drive, I wouldn't have walked home. I didn't go to the store. I thought it closed at 5 p.m. It closed at 6 p.m. If I'd
go to the store.
what? No. If I'd, the reality is that I didn't know it closed at 6. It was like 5:30 and I thought, oh, I can't go to the store because it's closed.
Okay.
If I'd known the store closed at 6 p.m., I would have what? I would have, if I'd known it closed at 6, I would have
go to the store.
I would have gone. I would have gone to the store.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you don't need to say that because we've got the store there. I ate the yogurt in the fridge. I thought it was mine, not yours. If
If I had known that that the
Yeah,
yogurt was
if I
yours,
know, very good, Emma, the yogurt was
the
yours,
yogurt was yours,
I
I wouldn't have eaten.
yeah, very good. Yeah, I wouldn't have eaten it. Good. I'm really hungry now. I didn't have any breakfast. If
I
any answers? If
If I will have my breakfast.
yeah, we're never gonna use would in the if part. If I
Ah,
had
if
had,
I had my
yeah,
breakfast,
if I'd had my breakfast,
yeah,
I
my I wouldn't be hungry now.
very good. Yeah, I wouldn't be hungry. It's not really necessary to say the now because
Okay.
you wouldn't be hungry. We can say it if you want. I didn't see Tony at the party. I wanted to speak to him about his vacation in France. If if what? Nobody in the chat is answering any questions today. Very difficult questions. What do you say, Irma?
Mm. Yeah, this is difficult. Mm.
If I'd begins with S. If I'd seen, if I'd seen Tony at the party,
Oh yeah.
what would you have done if you'd seen him? I would have.
I will have a speak to
What's the
him.
past participle of speak?
I have spoken
Yeah, I'd have spoken to him
to him
about his
about his
vacation in
vacation. Yeah.
France. If I'd seen Tony at the party, I'd have spoken to him about his vacation in France. Okay, very good. Y con eso, sorry, in Spanish. I don't want any Spanish. With that, we have finished today's class. So thanks, Carlos. Thanks, Irma.
see
Thanks,
you.
Maria,
Thanks.
Thank
Rafael,
you, teacher.
German. And thanks to everybody else on YouTube. And I'll be back next
Okay.
week.
Bye bye. Thanks.
Bye with another class. Bye.
Bye.